What mistakes cost people money when refinancing?
Picking up the phone when the online lender calls, and I mean that truthfully. Like I've told 4 or 5 people over the last year. They called me. They're like, "Hey, my current servicer is whoever, Wells Fargo, whatever. I'm getting ready. I'm thinking to do a refi, but I wanted to talk to you because you treated me right." And I'm like, "Well, yeah." And I look at it. I'm like, "No, it doesn't make sense for you to refinance. Like you're only saving $150 a month, and the closing costs are $6,000. No, just wait. Just taking the wrong advice from the wrong people."
That's why it's important to have a good agent to work with to advise you of those things.
Welcome to the Studio 321 podcast, powered by Brightway, the Steve Trout agency. We're sitting down with real estate pros, insurance nerds, mortgage masterminds, and local legends who are making moves on the Space Coast. Hosted by the best insurance crew in the 321. At Studio 321, it's all about community, real connections, and sharing a few laughs along the way. Strap in, let's launch into today's episode. Today we're hanging out with someone who's been helping Floridians navigate mortgages for 23 years and counting. He serves buyers across the entire state of Florida, but he's as local as it gets, 35 years on the Space Coast. Before mortgages, he was a part-time fishing charter captain and even owned a jet ski rental and beach service. So he knows our waters and our market inside and out. He's a multi-year Champions Club honoree with the mortgage firm and consistently ranks among the best in the country for customer satisfaction. What really sets him apart is his straight shooter approach. He doesn't tell people what they want to hear. He tells them the truth, and clients come back because of it. He's passionate about educating borrowers on the bond market and smart rate lock strategies. And when he's not closing loans, you'll find him coaching youth sports, teaching kids how to win and lose with dignity. Away from work, he's all about his family. His wife is his rock, his 2 boys are his why, and Finn, objectively, is the best dog on earth. He loves fishing, golf, skiing, and pretty much anything in, on, or under the water. His mottos, carpe diem. And in the words of Warren Buffett, you can always tell someone to go to hell tomorrow. Please welcome the mortgage firm, Bryan Troy.
Woo!
Wow, those
That's
are pretty.
a good one.
That's a lot to live up to.
Yeah, man.
Were you talking about me? I was going to tell you to go to hell, but I'll call you tomorrow. All right.
What's up, man? Thank you so much for being here, dude. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. First time doing something like this, so it's pretty cool, man, to sit down with you, and you and I have a long history for sure.
Well, you're in good company, man. We've only done, I think I said we've done like 7 or 8 recordings, so we're pretty new to this as well. So we'll rough through it together. So 23 years in the mortgage business.
It's a long time.
It's a long time, dude.
Some gray in the beard.
Yep.
Yeah.
How'd you get started?
Man, that's a great question. So I was kind of entrepreneurial, trying to get through UCF, which I affectionately called You Can't Finish at the time. And had a friend that was out in Colorado doing some financing stuff, and he said, "Hey, doing some home financing, think about getting into it?" And I said, "I don't know the first thing about it." He's like, "Well, I can teach you." And next thing you know, we were running Matrix Lending Group out of a bedroom, basically.
God, I remember Matrix.
And ironically, that's how we met you.
Yeah.
Is we were a broker shop, and you were with
American Mortgage Network at the time.
Amnet.
Yeah.
Amnet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
And
crazy.
man, I'll never forget this because I don't want to give up too much information, but it was one of the principals of Long Doggers at the time.
Okay.
And we had their loan in with you, and it was kind of during the meltdown. And we keep calling, going, "Hey, like we're closing next Friday. What's going on?" And you candidly said to us, "Take this loan somewhere else, man."
Yeah.
And that was during the implosion where you would look on the website, and every day there were 3 more lenders out of business.
Yeah.
And if you had a loan clear or close the next day, you weren't closing.
Yeah,
They would just come and chain up the doors in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And we did that, and we saved face with like a local businessman to this day who I'm friends with, who could have really been like, I don't know who those clowns are, but don't send them your mortgage. They didn't close me. So to this day, I owe you for that.
Yeah, no. I mean, I've always tried to be like, just with my clients, with my partners, just straightforward, dude, and just like, hey, if we can't do the deal, I'm gonna tell you. Like, I don't want to string anybody along.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean?
why blow sunshine. You know,
correct.
people want. I tell people all the time, I'm not an optimist or a pessimist. I'm just a realist.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to tell you and educate you and tell you how it is. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
What got you to that motto?
Just because if not, it just bites you.
Yeah.
You know?
It comes back around for sure.
And what Bryan was talking about, for people who don't know, prior to my insurance life, I was in the mortgage business as a wholesale account rep.
Man, was kidding.
And so my job was to know all the mortgage brokers in town and convince them that my company could underwrite and fund their loans. And so it was important to have that relationship of like, you wanted to be able to trust me that when we took on a loan, we were going to close it. You know, and if it was a deal we couldn't do, I was always straightforward. Like, don't send that to me.
Absolutely.
You know? So,
And I mean, at that time, like I said, you had these monster companies going out of business by the week.
Yeah.
And I think the last one I dealt with was like Taylor, Bean, and Whitaker. They were 2 months in underwriting.
Oh, yeah.
And then we got a month in and they chained the doors.
There's actually an episode of American Greed about Taylor, Bean, and Whitaker.
Wow.
Have you ever seen it?
I have not.
You got to go check it out.
I want to see it.
Yes, it's
And that whole time frame, I mean, one of my favorite movies to this day is The Big Short.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I tell people,
That
I'm
is my
like,
favorite.
that was...
That
all
movie
that
does a
stuff is
really
factual.
good job of showing what the problems were.
It's one of the best movies. Like,
Absolutely.
Even if you're not involved in finance or anything, it's like all-star cast,
Yeah.
and it tells the truth about that '08 collapse.
Well, I love it because I lived it.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
I have the scars from it.
So let's talk about that. So 2008, right? We had kind of the mortgage meltdown. How did you survive that, man? I mean, so I've said it before on this podcast, like we survived probably the toughest insurance market over the last few years. And now we're getting to a really healthy place and things are really great and things are getting stable again. And so I've kind of been through like 2 industry meltdowns. I was in an industry meltdown in 2008 in the mortgage business. And then I didn't survive that one. And then I got into insurance and I did survive this last one. But like, let's talk about like, what did it take, man, to like get through that? You know what I mean? Like that had to have been one of the toughest times in your life, I would imagine.
Dude, that's a learning thing for me, like that I want to pass down to grandkids one day, because I was this close to just hanging it up.
Yeah.
Like owed more on my house than it was worth, no paychecks. There's no light at the end of the tunnel, and if it is, it's a train.
Yeah.
And at that time, a lot of people were just giving the keys back to the bank, going, "You can have it. I owe $400. It's worth $250. Good luck."
Man.
I just stuck it out and ground to the bone, man. And I mean, I'm going to tell you this. I don't tell a lot of people this, but I had an equity line on my house at the time.
Yeah.
And I saw them freezing all the equity lines, right? I maxed it out, put it in another bank, and I lived off of it for like a year and a half.
Yeah. Did what you had to do to survive.
And at one point, I owed almost double what my house was worth.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was days where I woke up and I'm just like, this is crazy. Like these Countrywide's going out of business. Like all these huge companies are going, how can I survive? And I did a few different things to kind of scrap along during the time.
Yeah.
And then it's pretty funny. I flipped a couple houses with a family member. They had the means to do it. I had the time.
Okay.
And I remember working all day, going to my first flip house at like 6 o'clock at night and working till 1 a.m. And my wife was pregnant with our youngest son. And I said, "Please don't have this baby while we have this house on our plate." And of course she did.
Oh.
And I remember being in the hospital and like carpet guys are calling me, "Hey, we need to get in the house and measure." And I'm like, when I'm in the
Having a
hospital,
baby.
dude, it was crazy times. But that 2010 is kind of when we started to crawl out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I look back, and the decision to have a kid during that time frame was probably pretty crazy, but it's turned
It's a
out
story
okay.
to tell for sure.
No,
Oh,
absolutely.
it was
Awesome.
crazy. It was a crazy time. I mean, there was no light at the end of any tunnel.
Do you feel like you were a better person for going through that and coming out on the other end, like for business and personally, like having to survive that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's like a lesson I can pass down
Pass
to the
on.
Yeah.
kids.
Absolutely. Yep.
You know,
That's good.
Yeah,
my
that's
oldest
cool.
son didn't make the basketball team for a couple of years, and he came out and killed it his last 2 years. And the coach even called him up. He goes, "Man, you never quit." He goes, "We couldn't cut you, and then next thing you know, you're starting for Mile
Yeah.
High." So that was his learning. Same thing, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
not how
yeah,
many
yeah.
times you get knocked down; it's how many times you get up.
No, absolutely.
So
I love that.
we're kind of the cockroaches, man. We were spinning around, legs in the air, but we stood back up, and here we are.
Yeah, I love it.
Resilient.
That's awesome.
And listen, that time has taught me so much.
Yeah.
Because people that got into the business during COVID, when you could write deals as fast as your pen would run out of ink, they didn't have those nasty lessons from '08. I did.
Yeah.
So I just kind of aimed my life like things were normal because when they turn the light switch off in our business, they don't use the dimmer.
Yeah.
They just snap it off and it's over. So and the last couple of years have been challenging as far as sales.
Yeah.
So.
But I do feel like if you can survive that 2008, you're going to be totally fine, man. You know, that's as bad as it's going to get.
For sure.
Knock on wood, but that's as bad as it's going to
For
get.
sure. Yeah.
So I know you're known for kind of being brutally honest to clients and to your partnerships and stuff like that. Like, how does that help you? Where did that come from?
I try to explain to people, I don't know that I'm brutally honest. I'm just honest. And lots of other people aren't, I mean, if somebody calls me and they make 50 grand and they want to buy a $500,000 house, I just grab a calculator with them. And I say, listen, debt to income ratio is factored this way. And I have them grab a calculator with me, and when we get to the end of it, it's like, do you want 70% of your gross income going just towards your house payment?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, no. And if you do it that way, they understand, because otherwise it's just an acronym. What is DTI? What is debt to income ratio? What does that mean? Well, this guy didn't tell me what I want to hear.
Yeah.
And man, it's the only way to do business is communication,
absolutely.
Clear communication. And it's not. I tell everybody all the time, I'm never going to tell anybody no. I'm just going to tell them we can't do what you want to do right now, but here's a path to do it in the future.
Yeah.
Or we can come up with a plan B, cheaper house, co-signer, save up some more money for down payment, get your credit score where it needs to be, et cetera. So it's never no. It's just
I have another
this
option for you.
particular
let
thing
me
won't
educate
work.
you, make sure we're making the right decision for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Love
Yeah,
it.
and then a lot of times you can get somebody qualified, but the payment's not comfortable for them.
Yeah.
Like I can qualify you for $400, but if you tell me you don't want your mortgage payment to be over $1,800, we're probably not going to get to $400. So there's that part too.
Yeah. I heard when we were doing some guest prep, you were talking about a client coming from another lender that messed it up and you saving the deal. Do you got a story behind that?
I have lots of stories. No, I mean like lots. I'm not sure which one you were talking about. I can't remember.
I can't remember either, to be honest with you.
No, but I mean, I have people come to me and they'll always start it. Well, I was pre-approved with ABC Mortgage or whoever it is, and my real estate agent, my family, whoever told me to call you. And the first thing I say is, well, when you were pre-approved, did you give them W-2s? Did you give them tax? No, they didn't need any of that. Or I bank with them, and I'm like, well, I bank with Wells Fargo. They don't have my W-2s.
Yeah.
And I kind of explained to them, look, somebody might have pulled your credit and gave you a somewhat educated guess, but let's do a real pre-approval. And then you dig into it, and they're 2 weeks from closing, and they get child support. Well, now they're telling me they can't use the child support because I haven't gotten it for 6 months. Well, they're absolutely right, but why did they write you a pre-approval letter without determining how long you've been getting it?
Yeah.
So I have tons of deals like that where, we'll step in and save the deal, but a lot of them it's just like, hey, you got to wait a couple more months, and here's why, and they'll end up coming back to us. I wish I could remember the one I told you about.
No, it's all good. But I mean, that's important too. Like even for like your realtor partners, like the realtors really need to be doing business with people that know how to do a real pre-approval.
I talked to someone yesterday, and they're like, I just really want to know if this person qualifies before they have like 5 houses they want to look at. And I said, they haven't sent me a single document but from what I'm looking at, they're not even close to qualifying for the houses they're showing you. And she's like, oh God, thank you so much. I was going to spend my whole weekend driving them around. I'm like, no, tell them to send me their documents. Then I can give you a price point that will work,
No, absolutely.
I know. I think it's really, hard to see. I mean, people just going out and shopping for homes and not getting that pre-approval, a hard pre-approval. Maybe just a qualification or something like that, but that's not something that's going to drive them to the finish line.
No, it's so alarming sometimes because people will like fly down here from New York or wherever, and the realtor will call me on a Saturday night. Hey, this person wants to put an offer in. They didn't bring any documents with them. It's kind of an impulse buy. I'm like, Snickers bar is an impulse buy, right? We don't need a pre-approval. Like, I'll just grab that. My wife's like, oh my God, you always buy the expensive stuff at the checkout. But I mean, if you flew to Florida with the thoughts of buying a house, would you not want to know how much you qualify for?
Yeah.
Can I buy the house that I'm standing in?
Right.
Yeah, it's really kind of crazy but it happens a lot.
Yeah.
People that call you and say, hey, we're not going to buy for another month or two. We want to get our ducks in a row. Those are the ones that are going to qualify.
Yeah.
The people that call
So
you on
that's your
Saturday
best-
night
that's your
because they're
best
here
one.
on vacation,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're typically not going to work because they run their whole life that way.
Well, sometimes we'll get like a cash buyer that will call us like the day they close and be like, hey, I need to insure this house.
No inspections.
No inspections, no nothing, It's 60s house in Merritt Island.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Something like that. And you're just like,
But this is what I can do for you.
yeah, exactly.
with a name storm bearing down.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
exactly.
the roof's a little old.
Yeah.
Should I get insurance?
But it blows my mind how many people pay for cash and then panic at the end, realizing they don't have insurance.
Mm-hmm.
you
See, I
know?
wouldn't see that end of it, but that's
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Because the people that have the cash, you figure they got the cash by being pretty prudent.
Yeah.
But I honestly think
happens.
it's the realtors that are really pushing for the insurance. I honestly, they don't think it's important, but the realtors are the ones that have, whether the experience of Florida, and those are the ones that are living outside, never lived here, and
Right.
I don't need insurance. I haven't had insurance up north in a long
Yeah.
time.
I live in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
What
They're like,
happened?
oh, you want it here, buddy.
Well, that's
Yeah.
true too. A lot of them are from out of state, and they just.
Well, that's
it's not as
another
important.
example. Like, I'll do a pre-approval, and somebody goes, "Hey, I got pre-approved for 400," and I look at the math, and I'm like, "There's no way they
How?
can get more than 300." And then I ask them, and sure enough, not to pick on Pennsylvania, I love Pennsylvania, but I did this with this bank out of Pennsylvania, and I go, "What did they use for homeowners insurance?" Looks like they have 65 a month in. I'm like, "Yeah, this is Florida. It's
Add
going to
on
be about
triple.
$350 a month,
Yeah.
not 65."
Yeah.
And that literally erodes $50,000 to $60,000 of
Yeah.
buying power.
Yeah.
Like, for every 10 grand you finance, it's $60 a month.
Yeah.
So if they missed on the insurance by $240 a month,
Yeah.
you can subtract $40K off that pre-approval letter.
Right. And
No, absolutely. I would think that the insurance premium is like one of the most important
That's
pieces
what
of
I'm
the puzzle right
saying.
now.
It's incredibly
You used to
It
be able to
used to
guess
not
at
be.
it. Like 4 or 5 years ago, I feel like you could kind of guess at it.
Mhm.
$125 a month, whatever. We're probably close within 25
sure.
bucks. But now, man,
you
I
can't
mean,
play around with
especially if it's beachside. I mean, like we're writing premiums beachside. They're like 10,000,
One of the first questions
12,000.
I ask.
It's
Where are you going to be buying?
unbelievable.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you're buying an old house in Satellite or India
Yeah.
Atlantic or wherever. You're
Yeah.
going to pay.
Absolutely, it's a big deal.
$500,000-$600,000 house is going to be $7,000 a year, $6,000-7,000.
And I remember like the real estate industry kind of panicking over rates, and like, oh, rates are going up, it's going to slow down the market, this and that. Meanwhile, the insurance rates are quadrupling, and really the industry wasn't talking about it much, about how much of an effect it was having.
it was.
It was
Yeah,
having an
Kill deals.
insane effect, killing deals.
Mm-hmm.
I have a rental house, and just watching the rate go up on that, I'm like, good Lord, like, I got to charge an arm and a leg just to break even
Yeah.
on the taxes and insurance, which is the crux of our current situation with sales, is just affordability.
Correct.
You take that house that was $500,000 6 years ago, and you got 3.25,
Yeah.
and the taxes and the insurance were half of what they are now.
Yeah.
Now you move that rate into the sixes, you double the insurance, you double the taxes. It's like nobody can afford to live there.
Yeah.
That's the golden handcuffs.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guilty. I'm
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
They're going to take me out of my house in a coffin.
No,
Like, I'm not
absolutely.
leaving.
My house over on the West Coast in Swanee, Florida, I have a 2.125 rate.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely wild.
Like, we bought our house 7 or 8 years ago, and if you tried to sell me that house now,
Yeah.
not a chance. Our payment would be more than double.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So talking about rates are up. Or they, traditionally, it depends on at
This
the
is what
time
it's supposed to
frame.
be.
In the last 30 years, it's still a pretty damn good rate.
It is.
But over the last, like we were just talking about, you could get in the twos, and now you're in the sixes. Maybe you were even in the sevens as of recent.
Maybe you were in the eights.
Yeah, maybe.
For a few months, a couple years ago. Very low 8, high 7s.
So that leads me to my question of, so I know when I talked to you the other day, one of the things you were actually in the middle of working on was going through your old files and trying to figure out, who would be a good refinance candidate.
For sure.
Kind of take us through that. Like, when is the right time for somebody to be thinking about a refinance, and when should they be reaching out to Bryan?
That's a super good question. Yeah. And I have this stupid analogy. It's like some people will want to put a number on it. Well, you got to save 2% or 1. That's like red wine with red meat and white wine with chicken and fish. Okay. It's not really apt, because the higher your loan amount, the more you got to save. Or I'm sorry, the less you have to save as far as interest rate. Okay. So if somebody calls me and they only owe $100,000 and they're at 7.5, I don't even have to look at it. It's not going to make sense.
Yeah.
Because on a refinance, you have certain closing costs, and they're fixed, whether it's $1 million loan or $100,000 loan. So the thing you always want to look at is, what is your break even on the closing cost? So if the closing costs are $5,000 and you're going to save $100 a month, it's about a 4-year break even. I don't like that. I like to see it inside of 3 years. So I would say $400K and up, you need to save about 0.75%. But on like $1 million loan, 0.5% makes sense. So it's just an analysis of closing costs versus monthly savings. Are we going to break even inside of 36 months is the way I look at it.
Got you. And
now, of course, it's not all.
And then after the 36 months, that's when you start to see the savings.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like to see it closer to 24 to 30 months. Yeah. And the VA agrees with me, because on a VA refinance, they won't allow you to refinance the veteran unless they break even in 36 months. Yeah. So that's kind of my litmus test also. And again, I like it to be closer to 2 years. Anything inside of 2 years is like a no-brainer. If you're sitting right at 3 years, sometimes I'll tell people, if I think the rates are going to keep dipping, hey, why don't we look at this again in a few weeks? But your bigger loan amounts, you don't have to save that much. So if you were at 7.25, probably 6.5 makes sense, to refi down if you owe a lot.
Yeah, I got you. So the bigger you owe, the more interest you're paying, and so the math works out. Yeah, you're going to save quicker.
But if you only owe a couple hundred, you probably have to save about 1.5 for it to make sense.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, that is good
Absolutely. To know. You maybe touched on this a little bit, but what mistakes cost people money when refinancing? Like, what are you seeing people make mistakes on a refi? Maybe it's not going with you, and you're seeing like the good face.
Picking up the phone when the online lender calls, and I mean that truthfully. Like I've told 4 or 5 people over the last year, like, they called me. They're like, "Hey, my current servicer is whoever, Wells Fargo, whatever. I'm getting ready. I'm thinking to do a refi, but I wanted to talk to you because you treated me right." And I'm like, "Well, yeah." And I look at it, I'm like, no, it doesn't make sense for you to refinance. Like you're only saving $150 a month, and the closing costs are $6,000. Like no, just wait. Yeah. So just taking the wrong advice from the wrong people. Yeah. And they're like, "Wow, you were going to make a paycheck on that, and you told me not to do it." I'm like, "Yeah, that's how it works. I'm giving you good advice. I'm not going to tell you to do something that a financial advisor would thumb their nose at and be like, well, that was stupid."
Well, you got to sleep at night, and you want them to be a client for life.
And that business comes back to me like
absolutely
5-fold.
Absolutely.
Like I'll get a call a week later. "Hey, my friend was, you talked him out of refinancing, and he was super impressed." And so that's just how I do my business.
Yeah, and it's the same here. I mean, like, one of the things I've always tried to teach my team is, like, if it doesn't make sense, like if somebody comes to us and we're only saving them $100, $200, why would we risk them now maybe having to replace their water heater or having to do something else? Like, you're doing them such a disservice by like trying to shove the policy down their throat.
There's corrosion under the sink. It's been there for 20 years.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But like, to save somebody, like even for us, like sometimes it doesn't make sense, even if you're only saving $500. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because underwriting is tighter.
And then don't you risk on some of those new policies? If they do an inspection, then sometimes they'll drop them for reasons. I've heard that too.
Absolutely. So like in the first 60 days of a policy, the carrier has the right to inspect and get off the risk. So you could be day 59 and get a letter in the mail that says, "Hey, we don't like that you have all these trees around your house. We're canceling you."
And
you
then
know?
if you try to go back to the previous,
And then
they
they're like,
might not take it, right?
well, a lot of carriers will have an underwriting guideline that is, if you've been canceled in the last 12 months, they want to know the reason, and you're going to have to address whatever issue that was to go to the next carrier. So you can get yourself into a pickle,
Yeah.
you know.
But that's why it's important to, talk to have a good agent to work with to advise you of those things. And hey, this
Absolutely.
might come back. And then a lot of people come to us, to save that $500 just because they're not happy with their current situation.
Yeah.
It might have been one of you two, because I have a house with Frontline, and it's an older house beachside. And rate kind of went up on it. I think it was one of you two, but it was probably a couple years ago. And I mentioned getting a lower quote, and then if it didn't work out, I think one of you guys said, well, Frontline, if you're with them and you don't have a lot of claims, like, you're staying with them. But if you leave them and try to come back, a lot of times they won't rewrite that same policy on an older house.
No, absolutely.
Does that sound right?
Yeah. So once you're
Okay.
in the carrier, they generally don't tend to non-renew unless they're going through some really tough times in an area, or they're trying to shed business for like hurricane exposure or something like that.
Right.
But for the most part, they're not just getting off risk. I mean, they do kind of analyze their book from time to time, and maybe we'll get off some older risk here and there. But I would say majority of times they want to keep that risk, especially if you got no claims. Like, why would they want to get off a really profitable risk, right? And so, by leaving them to go save $500 somewhere else for that rate to then go up 30% the next year, and now you're paying more than you were. And now you can't go back to Frontline because now they're closed in that zip code, or they're not taking new business in that area.
Yeah.
So they open and close areas for new business all the time, depending on, they have to be very careful with their reinsurance. So all homeowner policies in Florida have reinsurance on them. So carriers, especially in Florida, we're domestic carriers here, so they're mostly just based in Florida. So they're generally smaller companies, and so they go out and they buy reinsurance from much larger companies in like Bermuda and Europe, all places across the country. There's these giant reinsurers that kind of reinsure Lloyd's, all these companies, and they put together like portfolios of reinsurance. So half of your premium, it might not be exactly half, but 40, 50, 60% of your premium is going straight to the reinsurer to cover catastrophic losses. And so the carrier has to be careful to take on too much risk, say in Satellite Beach, Cocoa Beach, or anywhere on the coastline, because they're going to be overexposed to a hurricane event. And the reinsurers charge them based on their exposure to certain areas. So if you're like a carrier in Florida and you only have risk all up the coast, you're going to pay a much higher reinsurance than if you're also, you have a lot of business in Orlando and middle of the state, Gainesville, like all that. They want you to kind of diversify your risk. So when a carrier has way too much risk, say in Brevard County, they'll shut it down for a while and they won't take any more new business in that area.
So I wanted to ask you, I think I've seen some quotes come from you from some companies I haven't really heard of before. Do we have some new entries
Absolutely.
into the market?
Yeah.
Like, which more competition is
Oh,
lower
yeah.
prices?
Absolutely.
It feels like right now, dude, I'm getting like an email every week with a new carrier appointment.
Wow, that's awesome.
Like our carrier base is growing really quick, and there's a lot of new players on the market.
So what does that mean? They're going to want to start decreasing premiums.
Yeah.
So it can be a good and bad thing.
Yeah, so we're gonna see decreased premiums because of competition eventually.
Okay.
Inflation is still up, and so you might not see it as much, because just going back a little bit, what happened is we had a free roof issue in Florida, we had an assignment of benefits issue, we had a litigation issue in Florida. The legislator finally did something about that.
Okay.
About a year and a half ago.
Was there not more insurance litigation in the state of Florida than all the other states combined?
Oh, gosh, yes.
Yeah, you could add all the litigation across the entire country.
Is that not the craziest thing on earth?
Yeah, and so there was definitely a huge problem in Florida.
Yeah.
And finally, the legislator did something about it. They passed some really good laws that you can no longer do an assignment of benefits, which was kind of driving like the free roof thing.
And we're door knocking, right?
You can still door knock. I think that got overturned. But
Percentages on,
you can't assign your rights over to the roofer, which then they basically go to the lawyer And so there was just this big thing going on. And I don't want to get too much in the weeds on it,
Yeah.
but it was costing Florida homeowners an insane
insane.
amount of money. And carriers were going out of business left and right, kind of like you went through with the mortgage companies going out of business. We had multiple big carriers go out of business
It's pretty sad.
where we had to rewrite like 1,000 policies in 40 days.
With only like 4 carriers in the market. that
Yeah,
are
and then
writing.
no carriers to rewrite it with.
Yeah, no carriers.
You know what I mean?
Crazy.
And so it was a wild time for us. And
And
we
like pennies on the dollar of the litigation actually got to the homeowners, right?
absolutely, that's the thing.
That's
It would be like a $20,000 roof, and the claim would end up being 60,000. 40,000 was going to
Attorney.
the attorney. You know,
Guess who's making the big bucks?
yeah, and they were making insane money, and so obviously they were lobbying to keep all the laws in place. You know, and so.
But
I think you're going to see a huge
Yeah.
benefit here soon. Our insureds and basically insureds across the state are really seeing a stabilization in the home insurance market. Rates aren't necessarily coming down right now because there is some inflation issue there. Like as they were having these challenges, inflation was also hitting at the same time. But we're seeing a lot of competition. Carriers are getting back to profitability, which competition and profitability are going to force rates down, period.
Good.
And so, and like I was saying, we're getting like a new carrier appointment almost every week, it feels like.
Like I
There's
said, I've
so many.
gotten.
And now when we quote, we have 40 carriers to choose from.
I've
You
just
know, it's
seen names that
different.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen before on my quotes coming back, and I'm like, that's got to be a good sign.
And the key for insureds is more competition on the market is a good thing because that's going to drive rates down.
Absolutely.
You know, which again will help with the affordability issue.
I was just gonna say, man, we can get.
You know,
a
if you can
little
get
bit
that
of-
$10,000-$12,000 premium in Cocoa Beach down to $5,000-$6,000, that's a game changer.
for sure.
You know,
Yeah.
so, or even the ones, you know, even in Cocoa where you're paying, you know, $2,500, we can get that down to $1,800, $1,700. I mean, those are big. That's
huge.
big numbers.
Yeah.
You
You know,
know,
rates go from 6.5 to 6.1. We get a little break on the price of the insurance. Now
no,
maybe we
absolutely.
get a few more sales.
Yeah. So like in our business here, we work. So when I first started this business, we were basically 100% mortgage broker, realtor, relationship driven. That's how we generated our business. That's how we grew this business. Was 100% like our relationships. Period. Yeah. We weren't buying leads. We weren't doing any of that. We were strictly like shaking hands, getting out in the community, and just promoting ourselves. I call it boots on the ground marketing.
Absolutely.
You know, we tried to be everywhere and market ourselves everywhere that we could be.
Yeah.
And I had an early relationship with you because of the mortgage business.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, like when I talk, I talk to some young agents these days. Now I'm the guy kind of mentoring other agents now. And so as I do that, I try to remind them, I'm like, you're not going to have it as easy as I did because I had the mortgage background and I was literally walking into office high-fiving my people because they remembered me from mortgages.
For sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it helps kind of get our foot in the door. But how important are those relationships to you too? Like your relationship with the insurance people, but also like your referral partners, like with your realtors and stuff
We
like
talked
that. Is
about
that kind of
this.
what drives your business too?
I'm so relationship driven. Like I don't
See? Yeah.
I don't buy leads. I don't, and to a fault, I'm not the guy out there taking everybody out for drinks at night or dinner just because I have so much going on in my life. But you know, my people that send me business over the years, they know, not all the time, but I'll take a call on a Saturday night. Like I'll do whatever it takes to make you look like a rock star for referring me. But I'm all about relationships. I mean, I just helped with a customer appreciation party for a real estate agent, and we're sitting there, and I'm like, "When is the first deal we did together?" She goes, "It was like 20 years ago." I go, "Oh, I remember." I go, "You were a ball buster." She called me, and she goes, "Hey," and she didn't know me. I'm holding this pre-approval letter with your name on it. I want to know some stuff. Like, have you pulled credit? Have you checked their W-2s and tax returns?
Good for her.
And I'm like, she's a badass. Like, if I was a real estate agent, I would never take a house off the market without this phone call. And it was funny because as soon as she realized I appreciated that phone call and I knew why she was doing it, like we hit it off instantly. We've been doing business for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I have a lot of long relationships, and then, a lot of families. I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I closed 2 deals in 1 month this summer, and it was the son and daughter of 2 different
nice.
realtors.
Wow, that's nice.
I said that's all the endorsement I need.
Right.
When you trust your kids with me,
Yeah.
I know I'm doing the right thing.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
it's awesome.
I love it.
I felt so good about that. You know what I mean? It's like
No, it's the
you
ultimate
should pat
compliment.
yourself on the back for that, for sure.
It's the ultimate compliment.
it really is. Like,
Absolutely. You coach some youth sports,
a lot.
and
I gotta hear about this.
yeah, how did you get into that? I'm assuming with your kids.
Oh God, dude. Yeah, with the kids, but like the craziest circumstances. Like, I think I threw my hat in the ring because I played a lot of flag football. Like, I actually just played Sunday. I just kind of got back into it a little
What?
bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
sounds painful.
So, I just put my hat in the ring and I said, if anybody needs somebody to just help, like, blow a whistle or set up cones or whatever, I'll help you, right? And that was with my oldest, his flag league, which was, I think, 5, 6, 7-year-olds, right?
Okay.
And next thing you know, they send me an email. Here's your team. I
Yep.
go, wait, no, I don't see the head coach.
Yeah,
They're like,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
you are the coach. I'm like, no. I said I would help someone.
right.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
And that was it. They're like, no, this is your team. So I recruited a dad to help me, and it kind of started from there. And then I also remember in basketball, and I played a lot of basketball, kind of the same thing. I'm watching the kids on the bench. They're like bouncing balls off each other's heads during the game and running out on
They
the
need
court. And it
structure.
was super. And I mean, bless the person that was giving their time to do it, but they weren't even paying attention. And I'm like, my head's ready to explode in the stands. And I go, okay, I can't watch this anymore. So I actually ended up helping that year, and then it just kind of
Snowballed
went from there. Yeah, I even helped with soccer, and I don't know the first thing in the world about soccer.
And you have 2 sons?
2 sons.
And what are their ages?
One just turned 23, and one is 15 now. Yeah, he just
15.
graduated from UCF. So
Oh,
that's
very
that's who
nice.
I started with, though, is all his stuff.
Yeah.
And then my youngest now is like Tiger Woods wannabe of golf. So like I
Very
spend
nice.
every day driving him to and from the course. And
Yeah, I've been
practicing.
following you on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, and
Very
seeing your
nice.
posts about your son. Man, he looks like he's doing awesome.
Yeah, he's just kind of turned the corner the last couple of weeks. Been playing really good. And my oldest came over to watch his last match, and I looked at him. I go, he'd kick both our asses, right? He goes, oh, wouldn't it be close?
Wow.
That's the one sport I wish I played growing up was golf.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, my dad was a big golfer, and I just like
played it
driving in the
forever.
golf cart, and I was like, no, I couldn't get into it.
I'm a horrible golfer, but it's one of the sports that actually could have helped me in my career had I been good at it.
Oh man, I mean, there's so many business deals
I know.
consummated on the golf course. It's just awesome.
Even with like our carriers and stuff, they're always wanting to take me golf, and I'm like, you don't want to
sure.
take me golf. I mean, I'm a good enough athlete. I can strike the ball, but
Yeah.
it's gonna get ugly about midway through. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I've been playing with him a lot, and like I don't have back problems, but my lower back just from playing too much. I'm just like, oh my god, wake up in the morning. I'm like, I'm getting too old for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think coaching's helped you, like just in your business and in life and stuff?
And it's just all I'll say about it is it's just incredibly rewarding.
Yeah.
Because like my oldest son,
I would imagine you have to have an immense amount of patience too,
yeah.
with the younger kids.
I had a couple teams where I just, we just stop practice and run for an hour.
Yeah.
Like that's the only way I could get their attention. But man, for the most part, I just think if you connect with them the right way,
yes.
like I've had other kids come back and, they went to another team or whatever. They're like, Coach, I miss you.
Aw.
You were hard on us, but I
Yeah.
got so much better, which is the ultimate goal. And it's not even about X's or O's or football or basketball or soccer. It's just
Making an
about
impact on
it's just
their
about
lives.
teaching them how to win with dignity, lose
Yeah.
with dignity, and just be young men and women.
Yeah.
Like our flag football team, we had like 3 girls on it at one point.
Oh, and they're probably badass.
And they were awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the one was our pass rusher, and she had one of the other team's quarterbacks in tears. Like she sacked him so many times, wanted to tap out. So,
That's so
it's
I love
super
the
rewarding.
I love the win with dignity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's I think easier to lose with dignity than it is to win with it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, my son,
So that's powerful.
if he's not taking his cap off and shaking hands at the end of the golf match, I'm like, if I ever see him not take that cap off again, but he does.
Yeah,
like, I don't
yeah,
have to, because that's what we do when we're done. It's just, it's the little things, you know?
No, absolutely.
Just teaching them how to be decent.
Decent
Practicing
human
for
being.
the future.
You know, you play some teams and they're trash talking and cheap shots and this and that. And I'm like, listen, as the other team's coach, you're doing one of two things. You're teaching it and coaching it, or you're condoning it. Same difference. Like I told my kids, hey man, let your play do the talking. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Super rewarding though. Like I see my oldest son, kids I've coached in flag football now in town, like working and stuff, and they still remember it, you know?
No, absolutely. Like, and the kids, you know, they I think it's tougher these days to teach the kids how to win with dignity, because they're watching Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all that stuff, and they're seeing all these celebrations and all the things they do after they win, and it's just like there's so many bad role models out there.
There really
You know what I
is.
mean?
You know, I look back at like Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
Hand the football to the ref.
Yeah.
I've been in the end zone before. I'm going in the end zone
Act
again.
like you've been there.
Act like you've been there and you're going back again.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So, and I don't mind the kids having fun. You know what I mean? They do their silly dances. And like my son plays lacrosse, and the kids have this little thing they do where one will get on their hands and knees and the other one will lay on his back and take his stick and act like he's doing bench presses. Like, that's just harmless. Like, you're not taunting the other team. You're just having fun.
You're celebrating.
When I saw it, I was like, that's a pretty good one.
I was watching something the other day that I loved. It was Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. And he was talking about how when they beat LSU, they didn't rush the field. And there was like, that shows how far our program's come. When we beat a team like LSU, and it's just another day at the office.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was like, that's
good.
powerful.
That's
I'm
good.
like, that's saying more, not rushing the field
For sure.
than rushing it. You know what I mean? For sure. The guest prep email that I send out, you were saying that you occasionally do things that maybe you shouldn't be doing at your age. What are
Playing flag football Sunday morning. Yeah. No, I still play some basketball and football and stuff, but did kind of a bucket list trip last year skiing, and did a heli skiing trip where they fly you up,
Wow.
drop you off with a guide, and meet you at the bottom.
Holy God.
Oh, wow.
7 full trips, and they were like, "We got time for one more." I go, "My legs don't."
Dude, that's how you blow a knee out right
Gosh,
there.
I
dude.
know. That's scary.
It was
Could you get out of bed the next day?
it was awesome. It was the last day of the trip. I wasn't worried about it.
Oh, yeah.
Do you surf at all?
I do. Yeah.
'Cause I remember going to visit your office, and you were literally like 50 yards from the freaking ocean.
Yeah. That was the board. I have board meetings.
yeah, that's awesome.
Did
I
you
love
really
it.
take a break and just go to the?
Oh, I do it all the time.
Oh,
I
that's
live right.
cool.
I
Yeah.
mean, I take an hour lunch break, but I eat a granola bar in 30 seconds and surf for 45 minutes. And
Very nice.
come back.
Board shorts to the office sometimes?
Not normally.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
but I was close enough. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, working from home now is easy. You know,
Yeah.
hey, I'm taking a lunch break. Just going in the water to do it.
Yeah.
Who are you telling that to?
My assistant.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So tell us about this dog, man. Best dog on earth.
Best dog on earth. God rest her soul. We had a not best dog on earth, and it was like 12 years of torture. And no, we have a yellow lab that's just like amazing. He's like a emotional support person,
Yeah.
even though none of us really need it.
Yeah.
Like, we can have the worst day, and you come in, and it's like Christmas every time he
Right.
sees you. And my son goes through this thing where he like pounds on the door, and he acts like he's gonna growl and jump through the door, and then he runs around and brings a towel off the stove. He has to bring you something every time. He's awesome, man. He's a riot. Like, sleeps on you. He's like an 80-pound lap dog.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So working from home now, that's my new office manager.
Yeah.
Very
No,
nice.
absolutely. I love it. I had a dog. When I got my first house back when I guess I was like 20 years old, 19 years old, and got a dog that same year. Raised her from being a puppy, got married with her, had kids with her. You know, the whole deal. So like, she was like, basically, I say she was like with me when I started my adulthood, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And was with me
Right,
through
right.
marriage and kids and all that. She passed, I guess it's been about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was obviously super difficult to lose Kilo. I mean, she was an amazing dog.
Oh, dude,
And she became like the sweetest dog to our kids. And but I will say, when we got after her, I was like, I don't really want another dog. You know what I mean? Because I remember the early years of Keela, and it was not fun those first couple years when she was chewing on everything and pissing all over the house and doing, you know what I mean? And we ended up with, long story short, a friend of ours had rescued some puppies from a farm in Georgia and brought them all home, and was like, hey, I got these dogs, and started sending pictures to me and my wife. And I'm like, you're killing me, dude. Like, I don't want another dog. And my wife's like, come on, look at this dog. It's so cute. And she's like picking the one out she wants from the photos. So long story short, wife always wins. So we went over and got the dog, and the dog came home. And at first I'm like, all right, this is cool. Next, you know, after a little bit, it was like, honestly, we were like almost a year in, and I'm telling my wife, like, we're getting rid of this damn dog. I can't do it no more. I literally can't do this. And we got like professional help. And when you get professional help, they're not training the dog, they're really training you. You know what I mean? It's funny, but they actually like are training you on how to handle the dog.
So what's the time frame of this dog? Current situation?
Yeah, so we're fast forward, and I wanted to get rid of the damn thing, and now that dog is like the best thing in our lives.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like, she after we got the training that we needed, after the humans got the training they needed, she has turned out to be the absolute sweetest dog. And now I'm doing the puppy voice to her all the time, and you know what I mean? Like,
that's awesome.
She's like,
I feel like one
sidekick.
year, like we went to a Christmas party, the dog was like this, and it was already a year old, and then all of a sudden I was like, did you get a new dog the next Christmas party? And it was like massive. I'm like, no, that's the same dog.
Well, the person I got it from wasn't really sure what she was. She looked like kind of a little black lab, maybe mixed in with some boxer or something. Right. And she started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, we did a genealogy thing. She's 50% Great Dane.
That makes sense now.
And then like 25% black lab, and then 25% all kinds of different mixes.
No, she's big.
She's like the true mutt from a farm or whatever, but I guess mom or dad was 100% Great Dane. And then
but a lot of time those mixes are the best. They don't have like health issues, and
we just got a Labradoodle, and he is like SpongeBob Psychopath. I'm like, this dog, it's a Labradoodle, and he's 8 months, but he's super smart, but he is crazy.
Yeah.
And then after searching after we got him, everybody was saying he was like, they're like demon dogs or something like that. I'm like, what? Because the Labradoodle and the poodle together, that makes them, they're like, I will never breed this dog again. And I'm like, great, what are we gonna do now? Oh my gosh, but he's super smart. He's super smart, but he's crazy.
So the first dog, you said the training now, like, no, not our first one.
Not the first one. The first one, we just finally, when she hit like 4 or 5 years old, she was like, oh, okay, that's how I need to behave.
That's how they usually are, though.
Yeah, we went through 12 years. That never happened.
Really?
Okay, so little example.
What?
K9 campus on US 1. They want you to bring your dog in for a temperament evaluation, because we were going to take the previous dog there for Thanksgiving, and they keep the dog for a couple hours, see how it gets along with the other dogs, etc. My wife dropped the dog off. She was at the top of the bridge coming home, and they said, come get your dog.
Wow.
This dog was mental. Yeah, we realized we had like a borderline Cujo, like not right in the head. I think I gave her a pig ear when she was like a year old, and I walked by and she snarled and growled at me, and I'm like, wait, what was that? Yeah. And I walked by again, and I mean, like, total, like,
you're like, we ain't doing
scary.
this.
Like, oh my
yeah,
God.
No.
Yeah, really. Only 12 years though.
Yeah.
Only 12 years. That's scary.
With our dog now, you know, I'll be like loving on her and everything, and then my wife will walk by and go, just so you know, Bailey, you wanted to get rid of you.
That's funny.
So I know you say your wife is your rock. How important has she been to your success?
Oh, she's been awesome, man. Like, when I was super, super busy, you know, like when the rates were in the 3s and stuff, like I wouldn't get home till 9 o'clock at night. So she just she works too, and held the whole house down, the kids, homework, you know, just getting them ready. She's amazing. She's like a workaholic, Like I have to
In every aspect of life.
grab her and go
Mhm.
sit down and relax a little
Yeah.
bit. I got this. She's like, no, I want to get that. I'm like,
Yeah.
stop,
Yeah.
sit down and chill. She's amazing. Like it's embarrassing because like sometimes I just want to flop down on the couch. She's like, well, we got to get this done, and I'm like, you need to learn to relax.
Aw.
And she's like, it's
You
just
guys kind of
crazy.
ground each other. It
We do.
sounds like.
We,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We balance each other out perfectly.
Yeah.
Like she's quiet, non-confrontational. Not that I'm confrontational, but
Yeah.
like I let her handle certain things that
Mhm.
she's good at,
Mhm.
and she lets me handle other stuff. And at the end of the day, it all works.
Yeah,
But I look back when both our kids were in multiple sports at the same time. Like my youngest was playing flag football, basketball, and my oldest, and we would literally like drive from one practice to the other, and they're like taking off cleats, putting on basketball shoes, like back to back. And it was like that every day for like months.
I'm sure you guys had to split up too,
Yeah, it's
right? Like
crazy.
all over the place.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Oh, very
So,
nice.
Yeah, behind every successful man is a strong woman. You know?
That is the truth. I'm not sure if I'm successful, but I do have a strong woman behind me.
Well, like for me, like I get to come in here and 100% focus on this business.
Yeah.
And my wife focuses on the household. She makes sure the kids are taken care of. She makes sure the house is in order. Like she makes sure that our lives personally are always organized and ready to go. You know what I mean? So I don't even have to think about that stuff.
Right. And ours
You know,
is
I
kind
get
of
to truly-
flip-flopped
Yeah.
recently.
Why? Because
'Cause-
you're at home?
Because my son has to be at golf practice. He's not driving yet. So all the other kids
Oh.
on the team are older. So I got to get him to golf practice, and she can't leave work or even look at anything. I'm like, I got it. Relax. It's
But
all
you're not
good.
comfortable with him driving with somebody else right now?
Well, yes and no. But I don't know that invite is technically there.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Plus, it's like, it's not just, hey, can I jump in your car and go to practice? It's like my golf bag, all my
oh,
gear.
true.
Like,
yeah.
you know.
It's already in the truck. Let's
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Well,
So-
and it's like the time in his life where like you kind of want to be there to have you're probably talking to him as you're driving, you know,
Oh, yeah,
driving
for
under
sure.
practice.
No,
and
I
when-
love it.
And when you're picking him up, how'd you do today? Go talking through it.
And
you know
listen,
what
I
mean?
grab my laptop, I go to the course, I go in to the lounge while he's practicing. I can do anything I want to do.
And I feel like that is what makes you successful because you can do that.
Yeah.
That's
No,
what they
it's-
say. When
it's
you're there
huge.
present for your child, you've made it.
That's it. And I captured a screenshot the other day, and I think it's on my laptop, and it says, you know, some people measure, Warren Buffett talks about this, like an internal and an external scorecard, right?
Mhm.
Some people want their external scorecard to look good. Like, I want to have the most likes, but some people have the internal scorecard. But it literally said something to the effect of, you know, you've captured the ultimate success when you can be in a position where you don't miss your kids' events.
Correct.
I'm like,
And you
wow,
can be
that's
present.
really profound.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
if you can still bring the groceries
Mhm.
home, feed your family, and you don't, you know, you're not such a slave to your job that you're
Mhm.
missing your kids' events and stuff, that's huge.
Right.
So,
Oh, that's powerful.
It
Yeah.
is.
it's really good.
And it's something I'm getting better at. You
Yeah.
know, like I've been able to obtain that over the last few years.
Yeah.
It's easier just with one kid.
It is easier now, a little bit, you know. But
You got 3, so I mean they're all active. That's
3
challenging.
boys,
ages?
3 different sports. So we're constantly going different directions.
What are the ages?
15, 13, and 9.
Oh yeah, you're
We're in the thick of it
you're
right
neck
now.
deep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and they're all, you know, they're all athletes. They all love playing sports, and so we barely have a free weekend.
And mine's
You know.
17, and she drives. She does everything. Goes to the gym by herself. Goes to a doctor's appointment by herself. She goes
Yeah.
to practice.
That's huge.
But I'm saying like I'm like I feel like I'm not involved enough, and that's scary. That's
Right.
sad. So I'm like, oh, she's on her way out. So,
So
you've
what,
been there already though.
what's next for Bryan Troy in business and in life? Like what's on the horizon for you, man?
And I don't know. I still got a kid to put through college, so
Focus on that.
keep grinding for a few more years, and then I think my wife and I want to travel
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
quite a bit.
What's on the bucket list?
Alaska for sure.
Very nice.
I've been to Costa Rica a bunch. I got a friend that lives there, so
Yeah.
I'd like to spend a little more time there. You know,
Yeah.
go for a couple weeks at a time here and there.
Yeah.
I don't know. We just want to travel. She's traveled way more than me as far as through Europe and stuff. But yeah, Alaska is pretty next on the bucket list. And I want to do like a lot of national parks, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Glacier National and just stuff like that. A lot of mountains, cold.
Yeah.
I want to be at a point where I don't leave here for the summer by any means, but I want to go somewhere cooler for a couple months.
Yeah.
Like the summers here are just wearing me out. Like I remember a couple weeks ago, I'm like, is it ever going to get to the point where I walk out in the morning and go, oh, it feels a little cooler today?
Yeah, I always
and
think
it
that.
finally did, but then it jumped right back up.
Yeah.
But we're getting close.
We're getting close, yeah.
All right, man. We're getting ready. We're getting kind of to the end, and we like to end with like a lightning round.
Lightning round.
Ask you some questions here. You want to start it?
Oh, sure. So we just
I feel a lot of pressure right now.
Ask you some questions, just answer. Which one?
Okay.
Fast. All right. Fixed rate or adjustable?
Fixed.
Worst mortgage advice people get? Okay, skip that. Most stressful part of a mortgage file?
Income.
Easiest loan you love doing?
VA IRL, interest rate reduction loan. It's a refinance. And you just have to prove they're still working. You don't need hardly any documents.
Fastest you ever closed a loan?
Oh, wow. Probably like maybe 10 or 11 days.
Oh, very nice. Fishing or golfing?
Oh, both. And I have done that. Fish in the morning and then get home in time to go play 9 holes before dark. Yeah, with the boys.
Gosh.
Absolutely.
Yeah, your wife's very patient. I'm sure.
Fins and skins.
Oh, nice. Ski or beach day?
Ski.
I'm surprised. I thought you would say beach.
I'm not a huge beach guy. Like if I'm surfing, fishing, whatever, like I don't
not like a
hardly
chill,
ever go to
yeah,
the beach and
beach.
just sit in a chair in the sun and the heat.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, you're like me. That sounds miserable to me, actually.
Yeah.
If you weren't in the mortgage, into mortgages, you'd be a stay-at-home dad. I'm just kidding.
That's a really good question.
I know, isn't that scary? Like you just don't know, like. What else would
Financial
you-
advisor.
There you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right, I like that one. I feel like there's almost close to it.
Yeah, and I'm really interested in it.
Mm.
Like, I watch the markets every day, and yeah, like my 15-year-old's like gets $100 for his birthday, gives me $80.
Mm-hmm.
Dad, put that in my E-Trade account.
Mhm.
Comes home, Dad, I bought Centrus Energy today, and it's up 9%.
Does he
I'm
have like the app and everything?
He has an E-Trade account. Yeah,
Very nice. And he's 15. That's cool. One word realtors use to describe you.
consistent.
One word your wife would use.
Asshole.
No. Your kid? What about your kids?
My wife would say probably that I'm just tenacious.
Tenacious.
Like,
I like it.
whatever I
like
want,
that.
I'm just gonna work till I get it.
Great word.
It's a good one. How about your kids?
My kids. These are tough. One word that my kids would use for me. I don't know. They call me the goat,
There you go.
but only on like birthday cards and stuff. So probably the same thing my wife would say, except
Alright.
on my birthdays and stuff.
Aw. You truly are.
All right, Bryan, man. Hey, I appreciate you coming in, dude.
Appreciate
it really
you
means
guys.
a lot to me.
Yeah, man. It was fun.
We've been doing business together a long time, and I really appreciate it, man. I really do.
Appreciate you. You
All
always
right, dude.
take care of my clients, and totally happy.
Awesome.
All
How
right.
before we completely wrap up, how can people find you?
Best way is just to call me on my cell phone or just search Bryan, B-R-Y-A-N, Bryan Troy Mortgage, 321-544-7239.
There you go. You got it. Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
It's
you,
fun.
guys.
Yep. See ya. That's a wrap for this episode of the Studio 321 podcast, powered by Brightway, the Steve Trout Agency. We can't thank you enough for being part of our journey. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with a friend. Until next time, 3, 2, 1, we're out.